They say they have anxiety, but this stigma, afraid to talk about it or don't want to talk about it, sharing so much of your personal life is really hard. Hey everybody, it's Hannah. Today I'm going to address the comment, they say they have anxiety, but... So Marlo and I had an idea for a different type of video that we could film where we answer and address your comments and questions. We welcome curiosity, so if you are curious about something, leave it in the comments down below and maybe we'll address your comment next time. So Marlo and I each get this question fairly often, not too often, but we've both gotten it multiple times directed towards each of us. And one thing that we know is that if there are some people commenting about it, there are more people that are also curious but haven't said anything. People will say things like, Hannah says she has anxiety, but she can do a camper tour. They say they have anxiety, but they can go out to eat and play trivia. She says she has anxiety, but she can travel overseas. If you are one of the people that commented a question or a comment like this, you are not the only ones wondering. I'm sure there are lots of people that are curious or maybe even a little skeptical about it and just haven't said anything. So it's not just you wondering. So that's why I picked this comment to address in our first Q&A type video. So I wanted to start off by saying, in terms of anxiety, I can only speak to my personal experience. Everybody's experience with anxiety and mental health issues is different, so I can only speak about myself. There's a huge stigma around mental health issues, mental health disorders, and I know that, and I know that's probably where a lot of these comments stem from. It's just this stigma where people are afraid to talk about it or don't want to talk about it, and people like me who have an anxiety disorder are kind of not wanting to share about it because they're afraid of judgment. They're afraid of negative comments and things. So I totally understand that, and that is one of the reasons why it does make it so hard for many people to share about their mental health. So the theme behind our channel, all our channels, is we're trying to push ourselves to do stuff, go places that we have to kind of push ourselves through our anxiety or our depression and things like that. That is one of the reasons behind our channels, and we'll address more about that another time. You know, everybody's anxiety is different, like I said before, and I can only speak to my own, although I know that a lot of people, there are a lot of commonalities between different people that have an anxiety disorder and the things they get anxious about. But again, I can only speak to my own experience. Another thing that comments like this tell me is that it kind of encourages me to share more about the struggles we experience, rather than trying to make it seem like, oh, this perfectly curated video. For example, when we did the Taylor Swift trivia night, if you're on Facebook, you would have seen that. If you're not, we went to a new restaurant and played trivia. We're big Swifties, and we went to this restaurant and did Taylor Swift trivia. And what I didn't show in that video is that we almost didn't go. We got there and the restaurant was almost empty and there was almost nobody there, and it was a place we had never been for, and I said, no, we have to keep walking. And we didn't go in, and we went to Bath and Body Works and smelled candles and contemplated going home. And that was because I was so anxious. I felt nearly like choked about it, and anxiety is not something that can be logically explained or logically, like you can't talk to me and logic me out of an anxiety attack or a panic attack. It just doesn't work that way. And I just felt so anxious and nervous that I just wanted to go home. and it was just really hard. It was the idea of going to a place where I've never been before. It was the idea of we're showing up and there's nobody else there. What if we're the only ones? And new experiences. That's one of my anxiety triggers, is going somewhere new for the first time or doing something that I've never done before. Those are big anxiety triggers for me. And so that was something that was really hard for me. So she says she has anxiety, but she goes to restaurants, she goes out to eat, she does this, she does that. Yeah, I say I have anxiety, and I go and do these things because I'm trying to push through. I'm trying to find ways to cope and function in a way that I can still go out and do fun things. It's not easy. It's really hard sometimes. We almost didn't make it into trivia that day. I also have depression, and have for a really long time. And for me, some days it's so hard to even think about leaving my house. It is. And I think Marlo and I have discussed before how the hardest part is getting out the door. Because once we get out the door and we manage to start doing whatever thing it is, or once we arrived at whatever place we're going, we have a great time. Like going to the trivia. We had an absolute blast. But the depression and anxiety made it so that we almost didn't go and do the thing. Sharing your life and sharing so much of your personal life is really hard. And I don't include as much of the struggles of that as I guess maybe I should. And it's this, it goes all the way back to the stigma around talking about mental health disorders and mental health issues. It's hard for me to talk about the struggles and to feel confident enough to share about my anxiety and my depression with so many people. It's hard for a lot of people. And just because I haven't said, wow, I'm really anxious about this and I've had a really hard time with this, doesn't mean I'm not having a hard time. And the moral of the story here is that I'm doing what I can to help push myself to overcome and to put myself out there and go places and do stuff out of my comfort zone to help better my life. And it's really hard, but it's really fun and rewarding, and I think that's the point. And I think I will, moving forward, and I think Marlo's on the same page about it, but we will try to share more of the struggles with all of you guys so you can get a better picture of kind of what we're going through and what our experience is. Part of what we want this channel to be is we want everybody to be comfortable here. We want everybody to feel like this is a safe space where they can say, yeah, I have anxiety too, or yeah, I have depression too, and this is really hard for me. And we want to encourage others just so they can see other people maybe experiencing some of the same things that they're going through and pushing through and succeeding or not. Just so people don't feel as alone. So that's one of the big things we want from our channel. So we will work on sharing more of those struggles with you guys so you can kind of get a better understanding of what we're experiencing, what we're going through, and when we say we have anxiety, what that means. So I feel like this video was kind of a ramble, but I hope that I got the message across. Yes, we have anxiety, and yes, we do things that you may not expect a person with anxiety to do, but anxiety is complicated, and we do try to push forward and move past it and do the things, because we're trying not to let our anxiety hold us back from doing things we may learn to love to do. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. If you're curious about anything, if you have a question, if you want to share, please leave us a comment down below. We appreciate your comments and your questions so much. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.